Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Weekly 10s. In today's video we are going to talk about why so many CEOs are engineers. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. They're detail-oriented, analytical, and trained in systematic problem solving. Engineers' basic qualities make them good candidates for the top. By Yasser Al-Saleh, Senior Research Fellow at INSEAD Innovation and Policy Initiative. Corporate titans leading Australia's top 50 companies are as likely to have degrees in engineering as commerce or economics, a leading company analysis has found. And it's not just Australian mining conglomerates where engineers are rising to the top. Around the world, a combination of sound engineering acumen with an MBA from a top business school tends to be a common path to the corner office. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is an engineer. So is General Motors' Mary Barra and Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and the list goes on. In fact, engineering has long been ranked as the most common undergraduate degree among Fortune 500 CEOs. Even Klaus Schwab, founder and executive chairman of the World Economic Forum, has an engineering PhD under his belt. Why do engineers end up leading companies? Is it because engineers at face value are CEO material, or because they are more likely to have changes of heart during their career? If so, why, how, and when does this occur? Image problems. In spite of engineering's long and glorious history, think Thomas Edison, John Frank Stevens, Henry Ford, and Herbert Hoover, there seems to have been stereotypical image problems associated with the profession. While it's true engineers have often been identified as technical geeks who excel at maths and physics, many also exude a host of socially acceptable traits that eventually earn them the awe of their boards of directors. Engineers in general are found to be good at attention to detail, problem solving, numeracy, risk management, and analysis. On the flip side, many may lack emotional intelligence and the necessary leadership, people management, and communication abilities, soft skills which can be addressed by training to assist their transition into the management arena. Grass is greener. So what motivates engineers to depart from their more technically oriented career paths and make their way to the boardroom? Of the 300-plus responses to an online survey I conducted of 1,280 top-level executives holding engineering degrees, the overwhelming reason for moving up was money. Despite engineering being one of the more financially rewarding professions, many of the engineers turned CEOs surveyed noted that lawyers and bankers make vast multiples of what engineers do. We live in a world where the monetary value of professionals does not always correlate with the magnitude of value created for society. It can be argued that nurses, teachers, and NGOs are important value creators, yet they make very little compared to, say, investment bankers. And high pay seems to rank very highly as a motivation for pursuing a management position. As Rita Davenport once said, money is not everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen. A safe start. Another group of engineers said their focus changed after realizing a traditional engineering job no longer satisfied the desires that originally led them to pursue that career path. In fact, some discovered they had never held a genuine desire to be an engineer in the first place. The prevailing wisdom in many parts of the world, especially developing ones, is that high-achieving students are expected to enroll in either medical or engineering schools. There seems to be a widespread assumption that taking on medical or engineering studies is far more difficult than studying the humanities and social science disciplines. Some of the surveyed executives admitted that since engineers enjoy one of the lowest unemployment rates, engineering has always been perceived as a safe starting major for anyone, providing graduates with a set of skills that cannot be faked and which open doors for professional advancement. Other recorded reasons for pursuing leadership positions included disillusionment with harsh working conditions for engineers. The life of an engineer, it seems, is not as rosy as originally anticipated, while for others, it was not so much a wrong career choice, but rather a mere change of interest from a curiosity-driven fascination with how things work to a desire to make a difference or to acquire self-esteem. Their way and the wrong way. One of the counterintuitive findings of this survey was that most CEOs do not reach their position as part of natural career progression, but rather through actively pursuing a management role. The reality is, engineers are often promoted on the basis of their engineering accomplishments and technical merits, rather than their management abilities. One of the oft-neglected complications of such practices is that engineers have the tendency to think there is their way and the other or wrong way. In effect, this explains why engineers turned CEOs have a tendency to be ineffective delegators who adopt a micromanagement style. While many career changes are spurred by a perception that the grass is greener on the other side, most career transitions boil down to individual preferences and market conditions. These appear to be strongly geographically dependent, sector-specific, and gender-oriented. Additionally, the length of time spent in a technical role is expected to vary from one CEO to another, and once an engineer moves into the realms of the executive, it is highly unlikely they will return to a more practical role. But not all engineers are cut out to be executives. Many bright engineers develop no interest whatsoever in attaining a leadership position. This is not necessarily a bad thing, given the high proportion of corporate psychopaths in the C-suite. Mainstream engineers' characteristics, it appears, don't figure highly in the spectrum of psychopathic tendencies, until they become CEOs at least. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing videos from us.